All right. And for the start of episode 350, yes, we are 6 minutes late.
And thanks for throwing me under the bus there.
I totally did.
As if it was all my fault.
All her fault. I was literally the late one, and then all of a sudden she realized she needed to change her hat. I was like,
you joined.
Yes, I can blame her. Not me. Anyway, we're off to a great start. Running a little behind, but it is episode 350 of GM Farcaster, which is mind-boggling. And that's not even the total number that we've done, because we have all the bonus episodes and poker and cast out and all the things. And it's crazy that we're still here. Dragging as we are, we're still here. So I started my class last night. I haven't taught since October because I'm teaching like the back end of the semester this time. So it's been a long time. But it was great. It was great. But it was a lot because I had to, talk for 3 hours about, going back to Bitcoin. We started at the beginning.
Is it a 3-hour class?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I teach it once a week for 7 weeks. So it's a 3-hour class plus a lot of stuff they have to do on their own.
These poor students.
I know. Thanks. Wait.
What? That did come out bad. I didn't mean. Hello. I think 3 hours for a class is a long time.
It's a lot. Well, if you do it twice a week, then it's like an hour 15. And if you do it once a week, it's 3 hours essentially. So a little less, but yeah. It was fun. Started back at the beginning. I had a couple folks sitting in. I had a gentleman who's retired, who's auditing the class. You can do that for free if you're a resident and as long as there's room in the class. So I was like, very interesting to talk with him about other classes he's taken. And I'm like, I will so do that when I can, because that just sounds really fun. And like he took Spanish, he took like all these different things. And I'm like, that's what a great idea. I have a grad student who's auditing the class. I have another professor who's sitting in. So it was like so really interesting mix of, and then like the regular, undergraduate students. So, and it's really fun to kind of see what starts to click with them right away and what they ask questions about. And there was a lot of good engagement. So I think it's going to be a good group. Anyway,
one question: when you audit a class, you don't get a grade, do you?
No,
like you don't. So you don't have to grade their work, but they can.
No, if they participate and they do anything, like I will grade it just because they can do the full participation, but they're not taking it for credit. They're just taking it for fun, for learning. Yeah. So, which I love. I absolutely love that because that's like half the time that's such a better approach. So yes, 350. Welcome to 350. We're going to do some news up top. And then we have Jacek joining us. I think that's like a perfect guest for the 350, honestly. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Jacek's going to be here to talk about Degen. He's going to explain the sloth. I need an explanation as to what is going on now. And actually, if you see, let me zoom out for a second. I'm sporting, even in my background, a little Degen hat. This is an old school background that I haven't pulled out in a while. So there
when I
we
look at
go.
when I look at our most watched episodes, mostly before we were kind of streaming to Twitter though, but like on our YouTube channel, the first one with Jacek is still one of the most watched.
Crazy.
Like,
crazy. That was early days.
Yeah. I think the Fred Wilson one is still the highest of number of watches.
We're literally not in that one. We're not even in that one.
We don't need to be. It's our channel, Prof.
And Emily Jr., what's going on is episode 350. That's what's going on. So let's get this officially started. And we're going to be back on the other side of this intro. We'll see you in 41 seconds. Go tell your friends. Go recast, retweet. Tell everybody that we are on for 350. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, Prof and Adrienne, for another episode of GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is Wednesday, March 18th, and you are here with Prof and Adrienne for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day, plus a chat with Jacek of Degen today, which I'm very excited about. So, as we mentioned, it is episode 350, and I did use the Haberdashery. We're extending their sponsorship for this show today because it just is appropriate. It's fitting. It's appropriate. So this is a cast from you 2 years later, a little bit more than that, actually, 2.5. Prof and I are
quote casted something.
Right. Yes.
I quote casted something that was like almost 2 years ago to the day. That was the 2 years.
That's it. Yep. You're right. Sorry. 2 years later, and Prof and I are still going. 350 live streams, 1.5K to 2K viewership per episode, 1.5K podcast subscribers, 1K newsletter subscriber, 18K channel followers. Never a dull moment around here. There's always something to talk about, that's for sure. 2 years later, and our best part of doing GM Farcaster is still the connection with our live audience. So shout out to the chatters right now. Nothing makes us happier than a lively group chat happening while we live stream. GMFarcaster.com or MediaKit.GMFarcaster.com for partnerships. So you were pulling together some of our numbers here, and yeah, it's awesome. It's been a great ride. And we're still going, even as other people are shutting down. I should have
screenshotted the stats I replaced that with, because I haven't updated the website since last June.
Oh, yeah.
And the one in the screenshot was 2 years ago.
Yeah. Look at that one. That's wild. We had 77 episodes at that point. Amazing. But we were doing a lot of minting then too. Our minting has gone off, but a lot of, I can't mint on pods anymore. So we're kind of at a standstill at the moment on the NFT side, but we appreciate all of you. So it's been a wild ride, and we keep on trucking. All right. In other news, in like crazy news, let's start with crazy news first. What phase of the market is this? From JC. Where's Devin? Demers asks. Finzer and Kuo are 4 floors above in their own private suite with a personal team of assistants, security, and celebrity hair and makeup artists surrounded by racks of couture. I have Amarne Privé flying in. So if you don't know what this is, there was a Vanity Fair cover and article that involved a few folks from the crypto sphere, and it was, I don't know if I have any words for it. Odd, bizarre.
Yeah.
And there were some interesting takes on it about and this was one in particular that I thought was very interesting from Dennison Bertram. I was a fashion photographer for over a decade before crypto. I worked for magazines like Elle, Marie Claire, Cosmopolitan, and brands like Louis Vuitton and Gucci and more. The Vanity Fair article was a setup to mock crypto and those it depicted, and it appeared to be that way as you read the captions of the photos. It was odd. It was definitely odd. And just some of the comments on this, this isn't flattering. It was odd.
Okay, I'm going to say something coming from a complete place of, guess what? Didn't read it. Didn't really spend any time looking at this. So I don't know if I'm entitled to an opinion.
Go right ahead.
But I don't believe the whole, we're going to set up these people to mock them. I just think it's when you're covering something you don't understand and you come from a certain bias or point of view, it tends to come across that way as kind of mocky. It's we don't really get this, but I don't buy the conspiracy of
hold on. Mock them. You're not going to be able to see this on screen, but I need you to go in and read the photography captions, and I think your opinion would change.
I still haven't, but I still don't think it's like, oh, we're going to mock. I still think it's like, we don't understand. And then when you don't understand a certain people, it comes across as mocky. I mean, look, we mock people all the time that we're,
I know.
Okay. And yes, Jordan, it's Kathy Woods from Ark Invest in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Kathy. And it's just like, is not very flattering of her. And it's odd. It's just odd. And there's a lot of interesting comments from this photographer. So I don't know what their intention was, but it doesn't feel genuine. I'll just put it like that. It feels like they were mocking. I don't know for sure, but it just based on the captions from the photos alone, it felt very.
Do you read Vanity Fair?
I used to. I haven't in a long time.
It was like a go-to.
Yeah.
Like would literally like
I can't find a physical copy anywhere. Because I was looking for one a while ago of a different article that also was very mocking.
Listen, you're talking, it's like a dying, magazines are dead.
I know.
And Vanity Fair may still have a brand, but it's like, come on.
They got a lot of attention on this, at least from us. So it was interesting. And I would like to go read this one. So I may have to just read it online.
I just watched the Louis Theroux Manosphere documentary on Netflix.
Oh, I was hearing about that. I haven't watched it yet.
Highly recommend, but one of my big takeaways is it's like the world is so big. There's going to be people streaming, but these guys are saying ridiculous things, and they're like, well, you got to do. I don't really believe this, but you got to do it. Like, and then they all have their stupid Telegram chats that they're trying to funnel people to, and they're it's just so transparent, and that. I don't know. People do things for attention.
Absolutely. And Vanity Fair is trying to sell magazines. So I think they thought
they're not selling magazines anymore.
I know. But they're selling advertising. Something. Yeah. They're selling advertising.
They are selling advertising.
That's the better way to put it. Sorry. They're selling advertising and they're selling clicks, and they got them. So, I mean, I think it was intentional, and I think that they did exactly what they set out to do. It's just an odd photo shoot. It's very odd. We don't know what the purpose is, but it was odd.
But we're all talking about it.
We're all talking about it. So it worked for them.
Mission accomplished.
I don't know if it worked for the people involved, but it definitely worked for Vanity Fair. Speaking of more odd things coming to your screen soon, this is going to be a shit show, just letting you know. So Trish posted, you guys, so this is The Altruist. Do you know what The Altruist is? This new series that's coming? It was announced a while ago.
It's about the effective altruist. It's about SBF.
It is. It's about SBF. So Anthony Boyle is going to transform, I guess, into Sam Bankman-Fried. This is going to be, so this is based on, I think it's, what's his name? Oh God, I can't think of the author's name, but he did a book that they are now turning into this series.
Michael Lewis.
Thank you. I was like, Michael Lewis. And it is ridiculously kind to SBF. The book was, I don't know if the series will be the same, but it was like, so I'm really curious about this, but get ready for more mocking is what I'm saying. Cause this ain't going to go well. Like we're not going to look good in this as an industry. I'm going to tell you right now. But it's going to be, oh, that's funny. Ozark 2.0 Bermuda. Yes, it's EA. It's EA. They're calling it The Altruist, but it's flat out the FTX story. But based on the Michael Lewis book. So that has a very particular angle where he spent a lot of time with SBF and interviewing him. So it's coming from that perspective. Do with that what you will. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of truth in there, but we'll see. It's going to be entertaining. That's for sure. All right. In other news, while I was in class talking about how we're waiting on the Clarity Act, this happened. The Securities and Exchange Commission issued an interpretation that clarifies the application of federal security laws to crypto assets. Like, thank you. How hard was that? Come on. This is what we were asking for. This is a major step to provide greater clarity, while we're waiting for clarity, regarding the commissioner's treatment of crypto assets. And I didn't have time to read it. It is quite long. It's also still open for comment, which means these aren't full regulations yet. This is just a starting point. But here was my ChatGPT summary. You guys can go take a peek. Key takeaways: it's interpretive guidance, not a new law yet. It does not replace the Howey test, but it explains how the SEC will interpret it. Supersedes the 2019 SEC staff framework for digital asset investment contract analysis. And the SEC will apply this interpretation in future enforcement and policy decisions. So some big stuff. It listed the tokens that it's going to treat as digital commodities, which was significant. And there were some surprises in there. XRPs in there, for example. But most of them were ones that you would expect, like sort of the major tokens. It talks about digital securities. In other words, if you're tokenizing a stock, it's still a security. It doesn't change anything, which, you know, should be obvious, but sometimes you got to spell that stuff out. So thank you for that. Including like also ICOs, which is initial coin offerings. Those are still going to be securities. Digital collectibles, NFTs, are not always securities. Thank you. Like we knew that, but for some reason, Gary just wouldn't say those words. So depending on what it is, it could be a security if you're treating it like a security, but if you're not and it's art, then it's art. Thank you. That's all we needed to know. Some other digital tools they talk about stable coins, which pretty much lines up with the Genius Act. Howey test still governs crypto, but you know, they kind of give a little bit more clarity there. Decentralization is a key factor for all the people who don't care about decentralization. Guess what? It's a key factor. So maybe you care now. And then also it talks about mining, staking, token wrapping, airdrops, network rewards, interaction with CFTC. There's been a lot coming out with the CFTC and SEC working together, which is new and great. And especially around crypto and figuring out, you know, who governs what and how they're going to treat that, which is fantastic. Other tokenization of traditional securities, we talked about that already, that they are still securities. And then public comments. Third-party tokenization risk. If a third party tokenizes someone else's security, they talk about different structures. And then public comments requested. So whenever you do something like this, you have a comment period. So if you are interested, anyone can comment. Any public comments are allowed, but also if you want to connect with something like the Blockchain Association and add to their comments, those types of organizations may hold a little bit bigger weight. So you can also sort of funnel information to them. But I would say read it over. I'm going to go through and actually read the whole document at some point. Just haven't had time because this literally dropped while I was busy. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. So thank you. Great. And we know who's really behind this. Thank you, Hester. Thank you. We know it's you, and we appreciate you. Just a quick moment of a Hester Purse appreciation moment. Thank you, Hester, for the work, because we know that you have been doing the hard work back there. So yeah, love it. Whoa. Yes, excited about this. Going to be rolling some fresh Empire features we've been considering hanging back on for a bit. Ooh.
There you go.
I think you're going to see a lot of that type of thing. Like when you get a little bit of clarity and guidance, you're more able to know what direction to move in. And I think that's going to be important in a lot of areas. And so I'm excited to see this. And actually, you're Berserker. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you had some comments on this as well. Some perspectives on yesterday's SEC CFTC crypto classification. And then what makes it different from past guidance? I think this is important. The SEC and CFTC issued this jointly. That's never happened. Those two agencies have been fighting over crypto jurisdiction for years, them aligning on a single document with the CFTC agreeing to administer the Commodities Exchange Act consistent with these classifications is new territory. That is actually really big, important point. So, and then you can go on to read Jordan's other comments here. This will be in our show notes. All right, I'm going to move on because we have some other really big news. Well, not quite yet. Hold on. That's coming. One other thing for really quick first. If you're using Farcaster on Android and are experiencing issues, can you respond to this cast and with what issue? What the issue is, I was actually just having issues with iOS. I kept getting crashing. Mine kept crashing for a little bit there. And then it finally started working again just about an hour ago. So I don't know what was going on, but I think maybe. And some people were having they couldn't get to their fruit. My fruit. Can't get into Farcaster. My fruit. I was thinking the same thing. My fruit is going to die on the vine. And also, Adrienne, I lost my streak, my word of day streak.
Why?
Because I realized it during class that I hadn't done it, and I didn't have time to do it before 8 o'clock. So I'm very sad. I missed erudite.
Did you not cast?
No, I didn't accept the challenge, and I didn't cast anything with the word erudite.
Because I actually have the streak as like, if you accept the challenge, even if you don't cast and you get a 0, it still counts.
I don't think I even accepted the cast. I accepted the challenge.
I think.
No, I lost.
It's okay. You know what?
I lost it.
It's not that deep.
Happens. It's not that deep. I'm going to just live and move on and start a new streak. It's going to be fine. Okay, so this was from V Rose, one of the Nanar folks. One of the most loved features, deleted features, is about to come back, and there's a little rainbow. So we can only assume that it is custom reactions, especially based on this. Wow. I can only assume that, but Peachy would like a prediction market. Do we have a betting market on this?
Micro prediction markets.
Micro prediction markets.
I know you
should be a thing. They should be a thing. By the way, my nails are green. You cannot tell though. They keep turning purple because of my green screen. Isn't that funny? And then this from Christopher was really funny. Hexagonal NFT PFPs.
Yes. Oh,
like, sir,
so
that's
much better.
Like, sir, that's Twitter.
That would still be so much better.
Do you remember that period of time?
Loved it. A highlight of my
over on Twitter. Oh my God. So funny. So funny. And then I liked this from beep.eth. I'm going to say wow when animated PFPs come back. And I have some bad news, some really bad news for beep.eth. They're not coming back. They're not coming back. He has said they're not coming back. They're not coming back. But Cassie has some good news for you. Custom reactions and animated PFPs never disappeared from Quorum. So there you go. If you want those back, go jump in there. So there you go. This from Sigwider, our friend, Red Wings backwards, if you didn't know. Took a little time this afternoon and updated the Dune dashboard for Farcaster unique casting FIDs. It looks like we're currently around 15K unique casters, including bots, 12K for root level casts. So we're back to the good old days. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
If it's been feeling like the good old days, it's because it is. I do see Jacek down there. We're going to just whip through a couple other quick things, and then I'm going to bring him up. That's more than 37. Absolutely. This was really funny, and I guess I could have waited on this until after, but I got to just mention it. This was from, I love DS8 on this. What? You know how ants are one of the strongest animals relative to their body weight? This must be one of the dumbest takes relative to the mental capacity ever recorded. Brain stopping. And this was in comment to P. Marca's recent podcast. great men of history had little to no introspection. The personality that builds empires is not the same personality that sits around quietly questioning itself. P. Marca and I discuss what we both notice, but no one talks about. Literally nobody noticed that because it's not true. So the whole conversation was about how people didn't get introspective till about 100 years ago. And he just ignored, every great philosopher in history. Marcus Aurelius, Socrates, Plato,
I know, but I also think like the way Mark was talking about introspection was different than like being a deep thinker. He's talking about like introspection to yourself. I think it was like this, like, oh, let's analyze myself in this world. And so I actually understood what they were talking about, but it doesn't go viral on social. So I kept my comments to myself.
You should have put your comments out there, because the way when I watched it, and I watched him, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched the clip of it. I was like, dude, you need therapy, is all I kept thinking. So all like the dude's on every podcast to avoid.
He goes on podcasts. He tweets all the time. Like, what are we talking about? Of course, he's got an inner monologue. Of course, he's got thoughts. Of course, he has thoughts. But I think it's like the thing that came to my mind though was like, take someone like a Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't build Apple if you're also introspective, because maybe if you're introspective, maybe you wouldn't deny you have a daughter.
Oh, okay.
Like you can't have both things. And that's, I think what they're talking about is like, they're just like, so, I don't know. Cool. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm happy to be introspective.
I'm like,
I'm not building these companies. Cool.
But also, I mean, come on.
Why are we getting outraged?
It was weird. It was weird. It was very weird. But they did. Yeah, they did. They did actually. We're still talking to him thousands of years later. All right, I'm just getting my Degen links up.
They weren't even building rocket ships.
They just weren't. I mean, I don't know.
You can't do both.
Build some rocket ships. Ignore your children. Do the real hard work. Anyway, all right. Let me bring up Jacek to the stage. A perfect guest for our episode 350. Welcome, Jacek. We're so excited to have you back. Hold on.
Hey, how's it going?
Wait 1 second.
Yeah, I think we had like one stream in 2024 when I launched Degen. No streams for like 2 years, and now we've had like 2 streams in like 2 weeks.
A couple. Yeah. You've had a couple. Yeah. I think we had one other in there somewhere. Maybe we didn't. Yeah. I think we did one in 2025. We must have. But it's amazing to see what you're up to. I think you've got a lot going on. We need to dive into all of it because I need better understanding of what is going on with the sloth. But let me pull this up really quick. This is one of the announcements that you had posted. 2026 is the most ambitious year in Degen's story. We wrote up where our heads are at: NFT collection in Q1, agentic AI plus social-fi in Q2, and a full pipeline of drops, collabs, and brand moves throughout the year. Degen 2.0 starts now. So this is why we needed to have you on, because we need to understand what it is that you are up to. So tell us a little bit about this sort of reset. It feels like a whole new Degen, and you're going hard. People are getting new tattoos. It's wild out there. It's wild. There's sloths. I don't even know what's going on with that. But tell us why you decided to kind of go in this direction and what's going on. What's happening?
Yeah, so 2025 was a little bit quiet. 2024 was louder just because the whole market was loud, and the market cap and the speculation and the price aspect was sort of loud. Obviously, the tipping mechanism and rewarding people for posting on Farcaster was very cool, but then it got tired really quickly, and there was no solution for farming and figuring out how not to dilute token holders and things like that. So it was like super exciting. And then there was sort of this lull period of like, okay, is deep like what is Degen? It's very like unclear. It's, you know, it's not super clear to me what this thing is. Is it a meme coin? Because if it's a meme coin, then we should be doing certain things around meme coins. Is it sort of like a startup? And so I had a bunch of VCs, you know, reaching out, like trying to pick my brain and figure out like what's going on, like what's going on with Degen, what's going on with Farcaster. We got investment from One Confirmation. So it's kind of like startup-y, but is it really like a typical Y Combinator Silicon Valley startup? Yeah, I mean, to some degree it is, but like how much? So there's like all these sort of questions of like, where does Degen really fit in? And like, where are meme coins even going? Like, can you launch Doge coins infinitely? Like Dogecoin is like the Bitcoin of meme coins. My thesis is more leaning towards no, meme coins are going to have to start becoming businesses, and essentially somebody will eventually flip Dogecoin. That's my prediction. So I think I mentioned that last time, which is essentially
you did.
Is
that the goal? Is that the goal? You're trying to flip?
I think that's like the
That's a good goal.
Yeah, that's like the North Star. And then we're definitely still categorized as a meme, like on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. So that definitely is a big element of the brand. And so the idea is here, like, lean into that. So if people see Degen as sort of like this meme, that doesn't mean we're not going to do the utility part and do other things, which I think is like, okay, still building out like a business model around the brand. But I think that this is like a cool new chapter for Degen, essentially starting fresh, not really pivoting, but strengthening the brand. So essentially, I would like to do something in sort of like the IP lane. So essentially going for this IP strategy, and Pudgy has sort of laid out the way to do that. And I think we talked about this last time as well. So that's sort of the idea. We need a mascot, because if we're a meme, then a hat is very cool. Yes, the Pudgy.
We need a sloth. There we go.
Exactly. Yeah. So we picked the sloth. That was also not super random. Like we did some like analysis. We talked like with a bunch of like creatives and other people. And so yeah, like we also kind of felt that the dog's era is dead. The cat's era is sort of over. Like it's already been saturated. Like the dog coins are dog coins, the cat coins are cat coins, and like sloth is like could be in. And there's also like movies coming out with sloth. I think there's like Ice Age is potentially coming out, I think, and there's like another movie, some kind of kids thing. I forget, but anyway, so
Zootopia has a sloth.
Zootopia. Yeah, exactly. So we feel
it's actually probably my favorite character in Zootopia, to be honest.
He's like a funny character, I think, over there. So we feel like sloths haven't peaked yet. We feel like dogs and cats have peaked. Other animals have
dogs
peaked.
And cats are over. It's time it's sloth time.
Yeah. They've totally peaked. So like if we think the sloth hasn't peaked yet, but like with Zootopia and like all these other things, like sloths will kind of make a comeback. And yeah, so that's kind of like a funnier take on all this, but we definitely want to do something with the thing. We also have a deal signed with somebody. So we have like already like our first partnership sort of thing that's going to happen after the NFT launch. I don't know how soon after, but there's already going to be something for like a Web2 consumer audience. There's also going to be a Web2 aspect to all of this. So like Instagram and TikTok and all that, and that's already gotten started. But like I don't even have access to those accounts, because essentially the idea for those accounts is we really want to isolate Web3 from Web2, because when we cross-contaminate them, Instagram and TikTok sees Web3 audiences like toxic, or like they categorize them as like some.
I don't know why.
Yeah. And then like we basically we can't break out of that point. So like there's like a team that's doing Insta and TikTok and some other stuff. And they're getting those.
What accounts. Are those really quick, Jacek? What are those accounts, just so people can be following? Are they all?
I'm not allowed to even know, because
okay.
Because like, if I access them from Poland, then I'm already messing up the whole algorithm. So it's
that's funny.
So we're really like making sure that the accounts are well set up, that we have like a running start, and so that we don't mess up the algo. So we have to sort of like this whole thing. But then once we get to a certain follower count, then we can post about it. Then we can get Web3 in so that we.
But so just like, let me step back for a little bit then. So so it feels very much like a Pudgy playbook in a good way. I mean that in a positive way, because the way that Luca and team approached everything was from the perspective of attention, and they really focused on the GIFs first. Like before they did a toy, before they did anything else, before they did the game, all the things, they focused on the attention building on Instagram, on all these other platforms, using Jiffy and Tenor to a little bit, but really focusing on Jiffy. And yes, I'm saying Jiffy, and guys, get over it. It's not Giphy. Does that sound right? No, it's not. It's GIF. But they really focused on that so that you had just the normies using the GIFs, because for every single holiday, for every single event, for all the things, you would see these all the time coming up in your feeds. And if you wanted to share something on a holiday, it would pop up towards the top of the options. And that became like a huge thing for them when they went to launch, you know, the toy line and things like that. So I'm assuming like that's kind of the thinking there in terms of what your approach is.
Yeah, it's definitely the IP strategy. We'll definitely try and do GIFs and some other things. We won't want to like copy them one-to-one with what they're doing. So like the partnership side will be different. But we definitely were thinking about like, do we lean into being like degenerate and degen and really counterculture and sort of skateboarding and hip hop and stuff? And does that close us off? And so we were thinking about like, who's the audience and like, where do we want to expand? And Korea is a place where we really want to expand, like both with like exchanges and with audience, just because the volumes there in terms of like tokens, altcoins and stuff is huge. It's almost equal to the total USD volume of all exchanges. Just with Korea. And it's nice because 70% of their trading is in altcoins, whereas with like USD audience, USD volume on like centralized exchanges, it's more like 30% or 40%.
Right. It's more, most people are focusing on the majors, Bitcoin, Ethereum, et cetera. Yeah.
So like
no, that's a very smart strategy. And that's been another approach for Pudgy that they fell into that. It was almost like accidental, where just sort of the culture is attracted to the sort of character branding. So it kind of worked in that direction first before they, you know, along the lines of the NFT and the character and all the toy line, et cetera. And then it, you know, so when they launched the token, that's where they had a lot of volume as well. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a huge market, and they also have a lot of money to spend on tokens, but on other things. So, but also North America. So we were thinking, okay, exactly, like how do we kind of combine all of this? And so the artists we have like a really cool art team we're working with. I think we're like one of the top art teams, I would say. So that work in the background, there's not like names that could tell you that everyone would be, oh, okay, I know that. But like in the background, they're like pretty high quality art team. And yeah, they were sort of designing different ideas, and so we went with Qt. So essentially, Qt works really well for all types of audiences, and especially in Asia and Korea, like it works really, really well. But also works well for like the female audience, and like North America is cool with it too. So it's like it's perfect. And there's gonna be like a counter character to the sloth, and that's like a female character. And there's going to be like a lot of couple stuff and stuff like so. Anyway, there's this whole strategy that's going to roll out, and there's going to be something that comes out after the NFT, and then we're going to keep doing partnerships and things like that. So that's like the IP lane, and keeping the whole sort of meme side going, I guess, of Degen. And that's like one strategy. And then the other strategy is also to keep building things. So that's what Q2 is about. And Q2 is about launching a new platform and sort of using what the whole funnel, like the whole social engagement that we've built out from the NFT. Because basically with the NFT, we're not charging for the mint. Like, okay, maybe on secondaries we make something from royalties, but it will probably not make back what we put into like the marketing and put into the artwork and everything else. So it's not really like a cash grab or anything. So that idea was like, what's the ROI on this? Why are we even doing it? Well, we figured out, well, okay, let's beef up our socials. Let's get more let's get more attention. Let's get more engagement. Let's launch a Discord, since NFT communities are traditionally on Discord and token communities are traditionally on Telegram in terms of like groups. So we launched the Discord and we have like 20,000 members already, give or take. Okay, there's people farming, there's some bots and things like that. So
always people farming.
But we're making it really difficult to farm the whitelist. There's only like 100 whitelist spots from the Dream platform. And we're also like kind of filtering for quality. There's all sorts of metrics. So it's being run a lot better than I think the Degen airdrop campaign was. Because
really quick, this question from our chat. I really need the TLDR and how I can get in on the NFT. Can you explain a little bit how that NFT drop is going to work? And I had some confusion too when I went to the website and it immediately asked to connect Twitter. Can you explain the reasons behind that and just kind of, help us understand that so that we can help support you?
Yeah, so the way to get the NFT, there's a few different ways. If you're a whale and you have you've held 1 million Degen for the past 30 days or longer.
How about the past 2 years or longer? Just asking for a friend.
Yeah, so you, and I see yes to cryptos in the comments. You guys are all good. We did roll out an update last week where some people's whitelist got reset. So we have the old whitelist. So for sure, I'll go through it and make sure that all the whales get their whitelist that I know are legitimate whales. But if you can go to the platform and reconnect, then that's perfect, because there was a security thing where some people were getting whitelists that shouldn't. So we fixed that, but we have to reset the whitelist. So anyway, if you've held 1 million Degen for 30 days or longer, then you've been a whale. You've been with us through the ups and downs and through the really bad, like 95% down wave of Degen. So we're trying to go back up again. So we want to kind of reward you guys with an NFT, and you've also shown that you're willing to hold things. So we want the drop to go to people who are going to be hodlers and not people who are just going to try and flip it really quick. So that's
I think my NFT collection stands for itself on that point, because I've held things I should have got rid of a long time ago and they're still there with me. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, some people are saying that we're going to bring NFTs back. I don't know if that's true.
Right.
I think the market's a little bit tough, but anyway, so that's one way. The other way is you go on dream.degen.tips. There's like a spin the wheel challenge. There's a bunch of different tasks you can do, and those help you sort of level up and get a potential whitelist spot. It's much more difficult. And in the background, we're also sort of like monitoring certain metrics and looking at your Twitter score and like a Twitter score that we've sort of made up and other things, so that it sort of makes sense that this whitelist goes to somebody who's legitimate. And there's also, I think, the dreamer role, and that's if you've held 150,000 Degen in the past 30 days, and that also helps your chances. And then there's another thing, which is this bonus points thing, which is if you've held NFTs from these communities that are listed sort of at the bottom of the banner, then you also have a chance at gaining white. I think there's like 2 or 3 whitelist spots per each community. I don't remember exactly. And yeah, and that also kind of
I see V-Friends, and we've got MFers in there, and Pudgy, Sappy Seals. Is that Chimpers? Oh, the Mutant Apes, Mochaverse. I don't know what Del Mundos is. CryptoPunks. Like CryptoPunks. Azuki, Burb. I don't know what the little green guy is. Doodles, and more. So that gives you bonus. So if you go to, it's dream.degen.tips, is that correct?
Yeah. So the whole idea is to sort of have a new slogan for Degen. That's kind of like something that translates to Web3 audience and also to Web2 audience. And the idea is going to be dream big. So we're going to remake the website. That's almost done, and there's going to be like a Degen with there's going to be a hat. It's going to say dream big. There's going to be clouds everywhere, and there's a little sloth that comes kind of like coming out of the hat. He falls out of the hat. He's falling through clouds, and as you're scrolling through the website, he's sort of scrolling down with you. Then he flips around, and the hat becomes a parachute, and he's parachuting down. And you sort of learn about the Degen app. You learn about the Degen chain. You learn about tipping. You learn about all these different things. And then you fall all the way down, and there's a bunch of hats, and he lands on this hat, like this hat sort of mattress kind of thing. So it's cool. Like there's like all these cool things that we're doing that we haven't really announced. Yeah.
That's a lot. There's a lot going on, and I just have to, say, like, I appreciate you trying new things, like realizing, okay, what we're doing isn't working. Let's look around and see who's successful, who's doing things well. What can we learn from them? How can we tap into other partnerships? Very smart way to go. Doing some collaborations, all those different things. I really appreciate that you're not just throwing in the towel and going, oh, well, we tried, which is what we're seeing day after day after day. And no shade to anyone who does choose that route. There's a lot of reasons for that. So I get that, where you have to wind down. But I really appreciate that you're just like, the hat stays on and we just keep trying. We just keep trying something new. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this is like the best time to start building, essentially. Like this is the time where you've rinsed out a lot of these holders. I think we've rinsed out everybody who farmed the airdrop and essentially was just there to farm it. And that could have been done better, so we didn't dilute people as much. But okay, they've been rinsed out, they've sold. And I feel like we've sort of bottomed out, and this is like the perfect time to start launching things. And then we're sort of looking at other base meme coins, which cool, like I'm in a chat with them. I really, like all of them, but I'm also seeing not too much happening in sort of like the base meme ecosphere. And so we have a chance to be that like number one base meme coin and really solidify there, especially if we get Korea listings and things like that, which I can't guarantee, but like I want to be there. And I think with all the stuff we're doing, it's like really, it's possible. And then besides that, so that's the IP side. And then the other side, with the IP side is cool because it doesn't engage me too much. Like there's artists, there's people who do this stuff. It's not overly like innovative. It's not something where you have to sit day in, day out and really think about like, okay, how do we, except for partnerships and things like that, we don't have to like think about how do we innovate in this space. There's a playbook for that. We can kind of go through that playbook and that can kind of happen as long as we do it. But then there's the other side, which is the utility side and building a platform, which is like very difficult because it's more startup-y and like you don't know if it's like there's going to be product market fit and all that kind of stuff. So that's Q2, and we still want to be in social because I talked to Nick Tomeno a week ago, and he was sort of pissed off at me actually because he was like, "Well, what happened to social?" Like he was like, I thought you were going to do social. Like we gave you money for social, essentially, was sort of like the TLDR. Yeah. And I was like, what do you still believe in decentralized social? And I'm like, yeah, I still believe in decentralized social, but maybe not in the form that it's in. We need to do something different. Like the Degen app is not doing as well as it we thought it was, just through the distribution mechanism of like, we have a huge audience. Hopefully these people start using the app. So how can we create something new that's in the social lane, which I think is interesting. I really love friend tech, even though they rugged and all that kind of stuff. But I like the ideas. I like the crossover of social and finance.
Well, and I think that tipping in that social aspect was very core early on, but also it came from your experience with Dogecoin tipping and like that whole thinking. So I think that's been something that you've found to be core to begin with. And I think that there's still opportunity there in a lot of different ways. So I think he's right. I think you're right. I think things haven't worked perfectly yet, but I think it's worth the experiment because I think that, humans are social by nature. So it's still there. It's just a matter of figuring out what's the best approach for sure.
Yeah. There's the whole new idea. I think Haseeb, I don't know if he's the one that coined it or not, but he's the one that I sort of read it from, where maybe crypto wasn't made for humans. Yeah. Maybe it was made for AI. Yeah. Maybe it's too complicated, like connect your wallet, approve a balance, send something. Maybe it's just better to have the UI or the UX be a prompt, and you talk to the prompt like with Banker or with some of these other ones. And so we're thinking in those sort of like lanes.
That's interesting.
So we want to do something more AI-ish crossover with a crossover to social. And maybe the first thing will be more speculative, just because we have like more of this degen vibe, and it's a little bit, I think the call to action is easier there. Like with pump.fun, it's very easy to like understand what's the call to action, what are they supposed to do? Like you can like it, dislike it, but it's like very clear as like a business of, is it working, is it not working? Whereas like if we went like really broad, I think we're going to narrow the scope of like, we want to do something a little bit speculative, has a social AI component to it, and go from there. And then kind of be like, okay, now it's kind of like with Polymarket. There's people who are doing the speculation, they're doing the gambling, they're doing the betting, but they're essentially subsidizing the information that everybody else gets to see. And news source, like it's basically a new news source. So it's kind of cool. Like, how can we take the speculative aspect, subsidize something that can be much bigger and cooler, and try and figure out like that balance?
I think that's an interesting approach, and I think also you have a couple years of experiments of not just you but other people, and you can look and see, okay, what worked here, what didn't, why did they pivot, what and things like that. And I think that's helpful, especially at this point in time, because you've got a lot to kind of pull from and data to pull from, and maybe be able to pull the things that did work and tear them apart from the things that didn't, and hopefully put something new together. Little Frankensteinish, but you get what I mean. I think there's possibilities. Yeah.
Dan's been building out in the open. He's given all of his opinions, pretty like blatantly, and Varun's been open, and then all the other people have been, you can kind of just watch the timeline, and if you've been kind of, real time with all of that, you can kind of see what has worked and what hasn't. So clearly Dan doesn't believe in decentralized social in the form he created it.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think he has said he doesn't see it as it's the scale at the moment that's difficult. It's not the concept. It's the building at scale at $1 billion valuation. That's the issue. That's a little different than the thing itself. So I think make sure you're parsing the lessons, because I think there's different ways to look at it. It's not necessarily the whole thing, just like throw it away, but also you have to think about it in like, what is the true market and scale that you can work with. And I think it also comes from sort of some missteps. I'm trying to say this in the nicest way, a base, and maybe counting on that market to come in and help boost things that didn't pan out either. So if you look at sort of when things started to shift, you can kind of connect those dots. So I think there's interesting experiments that have happened over the past couple of years that you can definitely pull some lessons from. And then just like you're looking at, Pudgy and other ones who have done well with their approaches, and take the lessons there from that and see what you can pull together. Because I think there's also been some lessons, some things that, Luca doesn't bat 1,000. So, there's things there that didn't work, but again, there's always a lesson left behind. So whether it's someone else's lesson or your own. So, but I wouldn't say fully that, decentralized social doesn't work. It's like, what does work and to what scale, and that's the important part.
I still think it works, but probably, definitely not in the way maybe it was implemented. Maybe there's an AI component to it, like that somebody could, like a cloud bot or, book style thing where AIs are doing research together and they're connecting through this social media. Maybe there's a marketplace, all that. Because how are AI agents supposed to communicate with each other? How are they supposed to like discover each other? If there's a restaurant AI bot and I'm trying to book a restaurant, what's the protocol that does that? Is there a social media component to all that? So I think there's lots of like experimentation to do with like the AI.
I agree.
Yeah,
and
so
I think it's interesting for humans to even watch so I find it very interesting watching the AI talk to each other. Like it's pretty interesting, like and very amusing. And that's why I started a little comic all about it, because I'm like, this is very amusing. Like to watch them sort of figuring things out. And, at times it's a little scary, a little Skynet, but a lot of the times it's just amusing and funny. And, seeing them figure out things and launch tokens and do crazy stuff. And so I do think there's something there and something to that. Especially when there's an AI component involved. And actually, if you haven't played it yet, and you probably haven't because you hadn't had time, I would go play Among Traders. It's a new mini app, and it's the AI agent. You're creating a digital twin, and the AI agent is the one who's playing. Like they're playing and talking, and it's really interesting, and it might give you some ideas. So I'll send you. I'll drop it into our DC so you know what I'm talking about. But it's fun, and we had Saltorius on Friday talking about that, and we played a game live. And again, you're the human aspect. You can inject some human aspect into that, but also just even watching the agents sort of debate and come to conclusions is entertaining. So I do think there's something to that. And I think, leaning into that is maybe an interesting approach. I don't know. And maybe the sloths are your digital twins. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I like that. That's actually sort of the lane that we're thinking of. We're thinking about like cloning like consciousness in a sense. Like that's the way we're sort of approaching it. That you can kind of grab data from your social feeds and then basically clone. Like I know a lot of people are calling it twins. So it's like your twin clone. And then like what does that enable? Like what can you do with that once you have that? Because there's like like Maltbook is entertaining. And the one thing that we're sort of struggling with a little bit is what is the value prop? Like what problem are we solving for people? Is it an entertainment problem? Then that's a different thing, and then maybe that's cool. But is there like another thing that we're solving for people, or what's the exact use case? What's the audience and stuff like that? So we're iterating through all these ideas, and I do like it is going to have to do with like cloning and like. It's going to be a little bit more. I think we're going to use more like sci-fi terms. I don't know. We'll see, like cloning your consciousness or something.
Ooh. All right. Yeah. Interesting. Jacek, we've had you here for a little bit. I know you gotta get moving. Anything else that you want to share or like direct people to before we let you go?
The NFT launch is on the 24th of March.
It's coming up.
Okay. Yeah, I think we already announced that, and if we didn't, then my bad. But yeah, I think we did. I think we put out a video yesterday or something, or if not, then today. So it's the 24th of March, so it's coming up soon. Super excited about that. After that, we'll probably announce. So I'm just kind of recapping the roadmap. Something new, something with the IP, something more tangible, something you can potentially maybe even buy, and then Q2 is going to be. Maybe that thing, but in this sort of like more, let's say, startup-y lane, it's going to be this Degen 2.0 platform, this new sort of AI agent meets social platform. And and then also Korea is sort of on the map. How can we make a bigger impact there? That's about it.
Awesome.
Like, if you haven't been in the loop, check out Degen. Like we're doing a lot.
Is the best place to go into the Discord to get the most up to date or see what's going on, or just continue to follow your socials?
I think the best place is Twitter. I think everybody's crypto's on Twitter, so follow our crypto Twitter. And then if you want to talk to me potentially, then either Farcaster or Telegram. So I'm also active in the Telegram. I'm less active in the Discord because it's too crazy. So it's too many people.
It's too crazy. All right. Thank you, Jacek. Adrienne, I didn't even let you in here. Any other questions or before we let him go? I know he's got to run.
Yes, let him go. I loved hearing the updates. Jacek, it was really cool because I did check. It was like you were here 2 months ago and just kind of talking the concept. So I feel like very little time has gone by, and it's really cool to hear the updates in terms of like the IP approach. So well done. I'm excited for all of this to come out. The website itself just looks so much better than it did in the past in terms of telling the story of Degen for newcomers and whatnot. The only thing I wanted to ask you is, are you introspective?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm 100% introspective, and there's like I think that I agree with Mark to some degree that there are downsides to that, because you're constantly doubting some ideas, or maybe feeling a little bit guilty about things. Like, yeah, I've done tons of like therapy and other kinds of stuff. It's helped me like a lot to get out of, because basically like when you're born in a certain kind of environment, it's really hard to get out of that environment. Like, you have to be very individualistic. You have to be able to take a high risk tolerance, but you have to be introspective, because otherwise you're going to just fall into the same trap that you were sort of in. So for me, introspection is like a really big thing. So yeah. So I don't, but then at the same time, I do agree that there are people, it's not so great when you're trying to hold the ship together and things are falling apart, and then you're also doubting like yourself and things, and everybody's looking to you to be like, well, if you're doubting things and it's a bear market and all that kind of stuff, then whatever. So I think like Dan had that, like for instance, where he was very like opinionated, and I do agree that there are like some CEOs and people like that who are very opinionated, and you can't shake them. So then there's not like this, like they have a vision and they're going after it. But I feel like if that's the thing they're doing, and they're not introspective in the fact that they're looking at metrics, they're looking at sentiment, they're looking at people, and they're finally seeing that, okay, at some point you have to kind of give in. Like with Jesse with the base app, there's so much hate going towards Zora, and like their backing of like just one sort of protocol amongst like hundreds. And like I think at some point they have to kind of look and be like, okay, either you sync with the ship or you move the ship in a different direction. So I don't know. I personally think in this day and age, I don't even know how you would have a relationship with like your partner without introspection. Like that would be very difficult. And I feel like 60 years ago that was the case. Like that was the norm. But then there was a lot of other like issues. There was like a lot of domestic and like in this, and especially like in like, I think the bar has also been set much higher. So employees, women have different expectations of men of women. So it's basically like the bar is much higher, and it's not okay to be at like a lower bar. Like your employees expect you to not be like, you could be I think you could be Steve Jobs in the 80s or Bill Gates and be super explosive and have like a tantrum and yell at people. And in this day and age, they just be like, well, I'm just going to switch jobs then. Like, I don't really care that much about this job. Like, it's cool.
Especially Gen Z. They ain't putting up with that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's more of like a take that you could, like, maybe Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and some other people like kind of prove that point to some degree. But I don't think in this environment, it's the same environment. Like, it's a different thing. Like, people have different expectations, and yeah.
All right. On that note, be introspective, keep the hat on, and go get ready for the period of the sloth.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Jacek.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon. I love the sloth.
That's great. I like the sloth. I like the sloth. It gives me pudgy vibes. I like it. It was interesting to hear sort of the thinking as well around the choice. So I was like, where did the sloth come from?
Very
like, why sloth? It was like, because nobody's doing sloths. I'm like, all right.
I like this. It's also one of the deadly sins.
Good point. Great point.
I like that it's like literally the antithesis of fast.
Yeah.
So it's a little counter, because all we hear about is the only thing like quick speeds. Everyone's obsessed with speed. Yeah,
that's a great point as well. Yeah, that was interesting. Very interesting. I deeply appreciate, especially as somebody who is still holding a significant amount of their Degen airdrop, but even without my bags, I appreciate a builder who just keeps going and trying new things, and who, it's not like a pivot every week, which we get frustrated with, but it's like okay, we did this, we put everything into it, this didn't work, let's try something else and not totally give up. And that I appreciate very much.
The reason I asked him about being introspective is as I'm hearing him talk, and we've had him on a few times. And by the way, he was right. We did not have him on for 2 years.
Did we not?
Yeah, we had him on twice in 2024.
I guess must have been towards the end of 24 then, maybe I'm thinking or something. No?
Early. No, and then twice in 2026.
Oh, wow. All right. He was right.
But the way his communication style and has always, he just sounds so matter of fact and focuses on kind of what he's building. He's pretty transparent, and he doesn't sound like he's got a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
Like it's like there's just a kind of a quiet confidence, and I respect that. But it sounds like he's introspective. Sounds like he's got some, but he hides it well. Good job, Jacek.
Yeah. All right, we've got a few more things, just a couple more things to jump into. I really liked this cast from Daniel, our friend Daniel. So he said, have been recently what made Merkle a very powerful engineering org. There have been a few things that were unique to its culture. We'll hopefully share more soon, or share more today, and then he did a couple days later. I spent 1 year as an engineer at Farcaster. Here's what made the engineering culture genuinely special and different from anywhere I've worked. And I'm not going to read every single part of this. I'll just give the highlights. Hire agency people from your community. No PR approvals required on non-sensitive code. In other words, giving, again, the agency part of it. If you hire the people who can do the job, then you don't have to babysit them. Only meeting was 30 minutes stand-up. So a daily meeting, but quick. Everyone was full stack. Nearly everyone was customer facing. And that's it for now, he said. So, and that we kind of saw and experienced in terms of, we knew pretty much knew who everyone who was working for Merkle. We knew who they were. We saw them in our feed. We, shouted them out regularly on this show. And some of them, you can go into the lore app and see how many times we shouted them out. I mean, Horsebacks, it was ridiculous. Like he was one of the top ones, I think. So and I think that goes back to the high agency part of it. People who can work independently, you don't have to babysit them. They know their job. They're very strong at their job. And I think they did that very well. And the team was like 13 people or something. It was still tiny, even at the end. So,
and I think
how much they shipped was crazy for that small amount of folks.
What he describes here from an engineering culture, I think you could easily say, oh, you're a lead and you can ship fast because you're small.
Yeah.
But the reality is a lot of startups don't operate like this.
No.
And just a plug, this is very DevOps coded because this is everything that I had been working on in my enterprise world at scale. But this is like, this engineering culture works in large scale organizations as well. And it's like, every engineer has to treat themselves like they're customer facing and own end to end, and have that full ownership and the freedom to be able to deploy safely. But I kind of loved hearing him write this because
this is your thing.
Yeah,
this was your thing for a long time. And I guess I could see that in even a large organization, like just broken down by departments and having the same, same thing, but maybe just a narrower focus. Whereas with a startup, you just have a wider focus on maybe a narrow product.
Well, the problem actually with when companies get large is like they'll create these siloed departments. So you've got this autonomy in your department, but the customer experience goes horizontal. Like they don't just operate within one silo. So you create the silos, which are really good for kind of like doing your own
shipping
little job, but it doesn't actually, the end to end is not. So the whole, the whole DevOps movement, the word came from merging just two departments, developers and operations, which is still just a small silo in kind of overall engineering work. Mm-hmm. But that concept of like not doing handoffs of like, how do you
Right.
have it's like really like a mindset, and how can you
Own the whole thing.
own the whole thing.
Interesting. All right. We'll see how it pans out as we move forward with Nanar.
And what's Daniel doing these days? Is he
We don't know.
I
don't know.
We want to know.
Baby Kitty and Gagabot. They need to bring them back online. So if you want to see what Daniel's doing, just follow the FC Comics channel, because I'm documenting it there. This from Downshift, which I thought was good. I realize I am in this very cast, but I sincerely believe Farcaster would be better if people would just use Farcaster instead of talking about how or why we should use Farcaster. It's not that deep, but also we kind of do that every day. So I can't say too much about that, but yes, just use Farcaster for whatever it is that interests you, because there's probably somebody else who's interested in the same thing.
Can you check Downshift's profile and see? He got 33 likes here. See, I bet he's got more engagement on this than other things. And that's why we talk about Farcaster.
And that's why we talk about Farcaster. But about other things that had just happened on Farcaster, Word a Day. You added testimonials to the Word a Day site. Thank you, Ritan Starbova and JC for the top tier marketing copy. And that was just random things they said that you just pulled from casts. So we call those testimonials, if you will. We have a whole little area in our little Discord that just is our testimonials that we just grab every once in a while when we see something, when you guys say nice things about us.
And we collect them.
And we visit that space every once in a while just to help us out when we're having a bad day.
By the way, recommend everybody do this. Like anytime someone says something nice, just like screenshot and put it in a little folder and revisit it when you're having a bad day.
Yeah, absolutely. So very cool. And then also
look at what Rita said about, like, I just want to shout her out. She's using Word a Day, which is a daily vocabulary game. I never thought about non-English speakers playing this game. It's like, it was this, and she's English. Yeah, she's learning English. She's a ESL teacher, and she's using the game. And I was like, oh, and obviously, and
I need this in Italian leading up to FarCon.
Next year, we'll do
Italian words.
I'm not ready for that.
I'm not either.
But I think that's such a cool use case for the game. And
yes, I agree. Yeah, so that was very cool to see. And then also you automated a weekly recap for Word a Day game. And then follow Word @word-a-day to see the word of the day, a weekly recap.
You're on Twitter, then you
or open the mini.
Someone else.
Yeah, for play. And if you're on Twitter, you follow, is it _? Same thing, but _
with a game at the end.
With game at the end.
Word a Day exists, and I could pay for it, but I'm not gonna, because I need people to tell me it's worth it first. I mean, I put a wait list on Twitter.
Okay. Exciting.
And only one person put their name on it.
Okay. Well, and if we just tell that one person just to come open up a Farcaster account, they can just start playing.
It was
now.
Brad Q.
Okay, never mind.
But people, go to Word a Day game on Twitter, find the tweet with the wait list, and get on the wait list, and I'll bring Word a Day to Twitter.
Yeah. And there you go. If you want Word a Day on Twitter, you're going to have to ask for it. This was another thing you did. Now this is just the part where I'm just, shouting out Adrienne. The little Nanar Studio button that suddenly appeared in the app section on mobile was too tempting to ignore, so I had to try it out. I built this mini app using prompts alone on my cell phone. Building still required patience and a little grit, but those are not skills unique to engineers. The UI gave me a little Frames V1 vibe and lacks a little polish, but overall, I'm actually blown away but how simple it was to build a functioning mini app. Again, that's how I felt when I built my little Die Hard game. It's exactly how I felt. I was like, I can't believe I just built that.
Yeah.
For what it was. Like, it's nothing fantastic, but I was like, I can't believe I just did that. Nicely done, Rishan Manan. Check out my app, ELO Everyone, bringing a little PvP energy to Farcaster. Let's see who among us has the best vibe. So you built a hot or not is what you built.
But
Yeah.
ELO ranking, which means like you rank everybody so that you come out ultimately with the #1 hottest person on a Farcaster, best vibes.
I mean, well, sorry, I'm gonna have to
We
go
love
with
you, Jesse.
I'm gonna have to
Oh,
go with
get the
Jesse.
chef. Chef has good vibes.
Chef
I don't
has very good vibes. Ooh, this is hard. I'm gonna go with Devin. I don't know either one of these. So I agree with Burr. I need a skip. Oh,
right,
Joan. I need a
I
skip
thought
one.
about that, but I don't want to let people off easy. You gotta just go with,
I shouldn't be doing this
Justin,
live. I shouldn't be. Oh, hi, Justin.
come
We miss
back.
you. Come back,
Anyway, so what
Justin.
is hard about this? By the way, this is like it built a database in the back end, like it's a fully functioning app. However, I do feel a little hamstrung because and you know, it's like one, I was like, build this app, and it built it and it only pulled like top 10, like 10 casters.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, well, that's not enough. I need more. Now it's pulling too many. I need to prompt it so it's only active casters. Like I
Yeah,
did
active.
0.9.
Just
I
at
haven't limited based on
15,000.
Maynard score.
I'm not even in here.
No, I know. It's like because it's I think the database of what it's seeding from.
Okay. But this is funny. 6, Deodad and Jake. That feels
vibes.
right. Feels right. And then yep.
Ooh,
This
I'm
feels
there.
right.
Hey.
Feels right. And you're in there. You're number 5.
Um,
I am nowhere on this at all. But anyway.
Anyway, and I don't exactly even know how it works because I just prompted it, but literally it was just from a prompt. I'm like, build an app that takes active Farcaster users and do an ELO ranking. It did the whole, and it did it.
I think that's the big thing to take away from this is if you have an idea, just go build it just for fun, just to try it out. You never know what you're going to come out with, and just a fun thing.
Yeah. And I don't know if I can then export. I did see if I can kind of export the code base and then continue it, or if you have to keep only doing it through the studio, because
I don't know.
But either way, from like a prototype perspective, I mean, that's the beauty of AI is like, if you have an idea, from idea to like, prototype in, I don't know, an hour of like back and forth prompting. By the way, while I was doing other things, because it's kind of the
on
AI
your phone.
doing
But
it on
that's
my
how I
phone.
built. That's how I built the Die Hard one. Was pretty much just on my phone. Like I didn't even go on the web to do it. Like not even there. I was just on my phone late at night, you know, editing and okay, now try this or fix this thing or whatever. And like it was impressive. It's impressive. So check it out.
And then it showed up on the recent and mini apps.
Yeah.
Because I just I casted about it and then the AI picks it up. So very
I still have to go back in and do some stuff with Formcaster. I know some folks filled some stuff out for me and I have to give them access, and I've just been a little slow in getting that done. A little distracted, but I'll get back to it. But yeah, it's very impressive. So go build something, people. Go build.
Go build.
This from Jake, which I thought was a little introspective, if you will. From one perspective, QR auctions are only getting bids between 100 to 200, and the market cap is down to 440K after previously averaging 1,000 plus bids some months and touching an all-time high MCAP of 7.5 million. From another, it's still getting 100 plus USD bids every day, and most successful crypto projects have crashed 95% at least once. So I liked his thinking. This was very glass half full, glass half empty, glass half full kind of perspective of like, it's frustrating when you start to see things fall off, but also it's still hanging in there. And that's impressive. So good job, Jake. Go check out QR if you haven't already, qr.fun. It's on Farcaster. It's on Twitter. There's now an iOS app.
World, I think.
It's on World. Lots of places. Go check it out. Even if you're not bidding, you can actually earn some QR just by going to the link. And that helps as well. So go do that, which I need to remind myself to do that as well today. This from Toady Hawk. Oh, nope. That was from another day. We already did that one. How'd that get in there? Is this my last one? Let's see. Did I have one more? Yes, I did. This is my last one. Okay. So I posted this and said, this is McDonald's to sell limited edition 6-pack of candles that smell like a quarter pounder ingredients, ketchup, pickle, cheese, onion, and beef. And I think there's one more, sesame seed or something, the bun. And I was, frankly disgusted by the even thought of this. And I said, I'm going to need Samantha to weigh in, our resident candle expert, to weigh in on this. And then she said, did you know it's common to bundle 5+ candles together because of the unit economics? I have a build your own thing in my store. They did a good job with this. I want it. They did a good job with it. I want this. With this, I want. I'm like, I was shocked. She liked this. So she likes the McDonald's candles. She's like, I love the candles. I love McDonald's. What's there not to love? And I was stunned. I thought for sure she was going to go in on this and like rip it apart. And our, resident candle expert said, nope, this is great.
I love her. By the way, it's actually kind of amazing. Like McDonald's is going to get everybody thinking about candles because they've got the budget. They've got the marketing budget. Everyone will be thinking about candles, but they're going to look at those ugly ass candles with the stupid M on it, with horrible colors that smell like onions, and they're going to have no choice but to go to Humankind candles.
Or Humankind candles to get better candles.
No, sorry. I'm not saying go to McDonald's. They're going to have no choice but to go to Humankind candles and buy candles that actually smell amazing.
Yes.
That are handmade, that are beautiful, and
that's what you should do right now. Yeah. Yes, that's what you should do. But I was really surprised that she thought these were a good idea. I was like, okay.
And by the way, right, and once again, just like we're talking about it, just like the stupid Vanity Fair cover, just like being introspective.
And Humpty said, this sounds gross. And I said, I agree. But others do not agree. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And that's why she likes it. Yeah, Sam likes the idea because it's attention getting. I wouldn't be surprised if we get pickle candles from Humankind sometime soon. Wouldn't shock me. Anyway, she has really good smelling candles. I highly recommend you go check those out at Humankind. Anything else, Adrienne, before we wrap this up? This has been a great show. A great episode 350. Wow.
The rainbow buttons aren't back yet, so I'm just going to sit at home today and refresh until I can. Wow.
Just waiting.
And GM again.
I'm waiting for my GM.
It was a coffee mug for GM Farcaster.
Oh, that would be lovely. I would
love a coffee mug. Hook us up.
We'd love a coffee mug, but also I would just like my GM back because that's why I would start everything with GM to make sure we got the GM button. So I'd like my GM back. Thank you all if you're in the chat for joining us for episode 350. We appreciate you all for being here. Ooh, that's funny. Pickleball players now taking pickle juice shots. Only a matter of time before them buy pickle candles. True story. So we'll be back Friday, 8:30 a.m. I believe is what we're doing on Friday. Don't think we have a guest, so we'll just be catching up, and hopefully we'll have emojis back to share on Friday. In the meantime, if you're over on Twitter and want to play Word a Day, you should definitely make that request, but also come over to Farcaster and play. Check out Among Traders, check out Emerge, go check out the Degen app, go get yourself on a wait list for a sloth, all the things. And if you're in the chat and we don't have your Farcaster username, make sure we do so we can shout you out on Farcaster. All right. Anything else, Adrienne, before we sign off episode 350?
I don't think so. Try Emerge. Oh. Okay.
Emerge. I don't think that's their name. I think they were just saying Emerge.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. You'll have to come back Friday to complain about my apps.
Yes. Oh, yes. I didn't share that part. You're right. Yes, I know what you're saying. So, however, yes to crypto, they're now your most recently used your apps. And I know that you would probably arrange them in a certain order, and I forgot to share that. But also, now it's your most recent in that.
But only on like web or only on mobile, not web or something. Like they're not synced.
Oh, okay. So, we're going to give them a little grace. Hopefully it'll be fixed by Friday.
Can I shout out my background?
Sure. Shout out your background.
This is going to be my background for the next month. Get used to it. It is the Farcon Rome background, farcon.eu. There are still tickets available. Prof and I will both be there. We will be hanging out in Rome, probably just eating
Rome food. Eating.
Just eating. So if you'd like to join us, come eat some pasta and pizza. I cannot wait for all the food.
That's all she's talking about. She's just talking
about I'm hungry.
I've never been to Rome, so I'm like, I'm ready to go, see everything. I've never been to Italy. And she's like, I'm just going for a couple days just to eat.
I've seen the sites already.
And that's it. She's like, I've already been. I'll join you there for lunch on Saturday.
Food and wine. I know travel logistics are tough. A lot of people bought tickets either because they were going to go or just kind of to support and aren't able. So there are, and Humpty's got one, but I know other people do as well. Humpty's on-chain creator, right?
Yes.
Is that you, Humpty?
That's Humpty. Yeah.
But there's others as well, but also you can buy a ticket and
you can buy a ticket too. Yeah.
Yes. And it is
And also, we've got over 1,000 people watching right now. We also have media sponsorships available that we're going to start rolling out more information about that by tomorrow with some details. But if you are interested in being the media sponsor, one of our media sponsors as part of our partnership with Farcon, you'll be featured everywhere at the event, after the event, before the event. We're going to be shouting you out on these live streams. We're going to be shouting you out in all the recordings. And you'll also be featured on a big old step and repeat, hopefully, behind us in all of our shots while we're there at Farcon. So you should definitely reach out to us if you're interested. And we'll have more information about that coming out tomorrow. But if you're interested, let us know.
Yeah, all of our websites have contact forms. So gmfarcaster.com or mediakit.gmfarcaster.com, and you can reach out via email that way.
Perfect. All right, everybody. With that, we're going to wrap this up. We'll be back on Friday. And until then, everyone, thanks for being here for episode 350. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us for this episode of GM Farcaster. And thank you to all our partners and HyperSub supporters bringing this episode to you. Follow the GM Farcaster channel for all the latest updates and add our mini app on Farcaster and the base app. Until next time, bye-bye.